This is Bay Radio.
We specialise in protecting, preserving and growing your wealth. Blacktower Financial Management, the team you want by your side. Visit blacktowerfm.com.
And as promised, and now weekly on this show with the way things are at the moment, is Christina Brady from Blacktower Financial Management. Self-isolating. How's that working for you so far?
It's working okay.
Yes, as we've said all along, Blacktower contactable via phone and email with all the folk usually involved, including yourself, of course. So what have clients been like over the last couple of weeks? Have you had many inquiries and people trying to get in touch?
No, well, people have been getting in touch, but people are very, very calm, actually. Obviously, the markets have gone down over 35%. People realise that they just have to stay calm and ride through this downturn. I think most people learned a lesson in 2007, 2008, and understood that the worst thing you can do is panic. Best thing to do is sit tight and ride it out. Obviously, you don't know how long it's going to take, but hopefully it won't take that long. We've got the FTSE, which is slightly up 2% this morning. The reason for that is because, Chinese factories see coronavirus rebound. Strong industrial data from China. And that's really, really convenient. Because they're manufacturing all the masks people need. They're manufacturing all the gloves people need. They're manufacturing all the ventilators people need. So they're seeing a strong recovery, which obviously means Asia markets have recovered slightly, which then impacts the UK. So the UK is up until the US opens, and then it depends what data comes out of the US.
Yeah, seeing, shares in German ventilator manufacturers soaring, and people are doing these. As we said earlier, it's a bit like people are drawing similarities with World War II, how everyone's sort of coming together, but some of the factories that make certain things, they're switching to making medical equipment, respirators and the like.
I don't think you can compare it to World War II in any way. But there are certain companies that can change what they're manufacturing to help out in this, and that's very, very good. Obviously, certain areas are resilient to this and making money. Certain companies, if you have investments in healthcare, obviously consumer goods. If you look, supermarkets in the UK have had their best March ever with profits up by 20% due to everyone panic buying.
I was wondering about that, yeah.
So supermarkets are really, 20% in the last 4 weeks, their data's up. Just when they were all complaining they didn't get enough people in, they're getting loads of people in. So you've got them. You've got, obviously, utilities. They can weather the storm because, obviously, people still need electricity, still need gas, especially if you can find a home. But if you've got shares in certain companies, then you really should be slightly worried. If you've got travel, leisure, retail, airlines or oil. If you look at oil prices collapsed to the lowest level in 18 years. Yeah. Crude oil fell below $23 a barrel at one point. And because demand is plummeting. If you haven't got the airlines flying so much, if you've got EasyJet, which has just grounded all its flights from Gatwick, all the airlines are cutting back. You're going to have, EasyJet has grounded its whole fleet, hasn't it? But yes. I think Gatwick has closed as well to flights. So, BA, has suspended all its flights from Gatwick. So airports are gradually winding down, closing down. You've got, obviously, the rescue package from the UK government. I think 75 million has been committed to get people back to the UK. That's
right, yes. You mentioned that earlier. There is a glut of airline fuel at the moment, as you might imagine. As you say, that obviously drives the price down of the crude oil from the start.
Of all fuel. Apparently, there's tankers queuing up, in the Med, various other places. There's nowhere for them to dock because all the docks are full. And it's going to affect certain countries. You've got countries which really, really rely on oil to generate the revenue. So these are countries which are politically unstable as well. You've got Libya, you've got Nigeria, you've got Algeria. These countries that were always quite unstable could now be tipped over the edge because they rely on oil for their main income. Also Saudi Arabia, they started the oil war with Russia at the beginning on the 9th of March. Russia is far less vulnerable than these other people. So there is just too much oil everywhere. In the UK, in the US, you've got obviously they did fracking to get the oil out. That's no longer viable. It's no longer making any profits. So that's having to close down. So it is impacting lots and lots of industries.
It's extraordinary when you see the oil thing, because like even down to individuals in Saudi Arabia, suddenly in a couple of days they can see their net worth drop by billions sometimes.
Yeah, it just, and if you imagine that's individuals, look at countries, that really, really rely on it. So, last couple of weeks we've had equities bounce back. They did bounce back by up to 10%, but what I've done is I've done some research, and it's useful to reflect on how the markets responded in 2008. Sorry, I'm going to cough here. It's just a little dry throat.
That's all right. Don't say you've got a dry cough, whatever you do.
I'm sorry. There were 5 10% rallies, and there were 2 20% rallies before the final lows were reached. So you're going to have these rallies, but it does seem to be stabilising just over the 5,000. That's the FTSE anyway. I was looking this morning, and the FTSE is at the moment 5,600. It's up slightly.
Yeah.
We've got FTSE 250, which is up again at 14. We've got sterling, which is up at 112. It did go under first thing this morning, but it's come back up. So the sterling at least has gained some strength, which when it went under about 1.7, it was slightly worrying. So that's come back. And we do have a quote here. There's a chap called David Miller, who's the investor director of Quilter Cheviot, and he said, big governments are setting the agenda, whether through lockdowns, allocation of resources, or implementation of stimulus. The direction is what matters. Investors are adjusting to events. Financial markets are functioning reasonably well. Liquidity is improving, and volatility in the markets has reduced. So there is some good news out there. Volatility is reducing. We're not seeing the huge swings we used to see. There is more liquidity in the markets with buying and selling of equities, bonds, etc. So it's functioning quite well considering what's going on. All right, nothing is perfect, but it is definitely functioning better than it was.
And the advice remains, as far as stocks and investment goes, is sit tight, because it did go it went below the 5,000 mark on the FTSE, didn't it?
It did.
It was extraordinary. That is worry. It's easy for us to sit here and say, don't panic, don't sell anything. But yeah.
I have my pension invested. Most people have their pensions invested. So, it is worrying, but it's affecting everybody. If it was just affecting one sector, one country, then obviously you could pull out, you could move into something else. But there's nothing to pull out to move into. Savings are giving you nothing. If you pull out now, you're crystallising what are in effect just paper losses. And as we've seen, the market went down to below 5. If you panicked and sold out then, it's now back up to 5, 6.
Yep.
So you crystallise such a huge loss. So I think, on general, I've had maybe 4 or 5 people saying, should we sell? Should we stop taking our income from investments? My advice on taking income is no. If you need the income, don't leave yourself short. Take your income. If you want to cut your losses, yes, but please remember you have then crystallised those losses. As you would have seen, if you'd done that when the markets were under 5, you've lost out on that rebound. You are just, losing money. So, and also with regards to income, most companies at the moment are suspending their dividends. It's happening daily. So people that have been buying in shares in companies like there's Wimpy, is that the house builder, and
yes.
Red Road, expecting to get dividends, which are paying good dividends. They've been suspended. Companies are suspending them daily. And this is the way people were getting income. They didn't mind if the shares went down because they were guaranteed very, very good dividends, usually 4, 5, 6%, which is more than you could get on your savings. Now they've seen maybe a 30, 40% loss on their shares, plus they're getting no dividends.
Right.
So people are having problems getting income, especially through dividend-paying shares, so you have to be very, very careful. And talking about illiquid assets, if anyone remembers 2008, we had the saying, asset rich, cash poor.
Yeah.
That's beginning to happen again, because what you've got is people have gone whole hog into buy-to-let in the UK, across Europe. In Spain, people have bought properties to buy-to-let. People now, tenants cannot pay their rent because of what's happening. Most of them are out of work, and most governments have said that you cannot evict people for at least 3 months. In the UK, there is a suspension of all court cases for evictions for 90 days. So people cannot, they're getting no income on their rental. Most of them have got mortgages to pay. They can't service their mortgages. They can't sell the properties because you can't evict people. So these people, they've put all their money, and I've always said this time and time again, diversification is key. You need liquid assets. All right, stocks and shares have gone down, but you can still sell them and get your money out. Houses you can't sell. Housing market in the UK, it's been put on hold. There is no buying or selling a property whatsoever. Even in Spain it can happen. Most of the notaries aren't working, so there's not much buying and selling going on. So these people are really, really stuffed, is the only word I can say. They're looking at maybe a house price crash in the UK. They're saying prices could go down by 20 to 50%. They are expecting a recovery to take place, but they're saying in about a year time. They're talking about May 2021. So for those people who are in that situation, again, we are asset rich, cash poor, and that is going to cause real hardship for people that have invested their life savings in property, expecting to get a good yield of maybe 6, 8, 10% on their return, are now getting zero, and that zero could carry on for 3-6 months. UK's talking about maybe extending lockdown for 6 months. 6 months for most people who have property without any rent coming in. Is a huge amount, and the banks haven't suspended mortgage payments yet, so you're still going to get those coming through. Banks are ramping up charges on overdrafts, which I think is absolutely disgusting, and I think all the governments worldwide need to step in here and say to the banks, right, overdraft charges, sorry, the maximum you can charge would be maybe 3%. Some of them are charging 40% on overdrafts. This is where greed is coming in, and we can talk about greed in a little while, but that is just pure greed on behalf of the banks.
Talking to Christina Brady from Blacktower Financial Management. Been doing this for a while now, usually every other Tuesday, but we'll get you on every week if we can at the moment, because on the line, working from home, and working you are as well. Here's the thing, this is a sobering thought. We're still inside the 5-year term of David Cameron's last election win. Yeah, it's fair to say plenty's happened since then, but yeah, still well within that. It's May, it would be May, won't it? I guess.
I don't know.
2015.
I've forgotten about that chappie. Well, I was trying to forget about that chap, so thanks
I guess you haven't read his book, have you? He had his memoirs out, didn't he?
No, it may be burning in my fire. I'm not sure. They may have changed it into a wood pellet, so I could be burning it. I'm not sure.
We did say we'll touch on pensions, because this is where it comes down to, some of the core stuff that you deal with. UK pensions, and it'll be the new tax year.
Yeah, there's some good news for UK state pensioners. From 6th of April, the state pensions in the UK will rise by 3.9%. So for some people, that's over £6 per week. It means the rate for the new state pension will increase from 168.80 to 175.20 a week, or to 9,110 a year. However, there is a sting in the tail with that.
Always.
Some tens of thousands will see their income fall, because what the UK government has done is it's end the allowance for adult dependents. So before, if you were married and you had, say, a wife or a husband who didn't have a state pension, you got extra money because they were called adult dependents. They've scrapped that now. So that allowance will go. Most people have received a letter. I did have quite a few people last year coming to me saying, what's this letter? What does it mean? So everyone should have received the letter advising them of that. But, at least it's something. It's an increase when everything else seems to be going down. So that's not bad.
Yeah, I was quite interested in it. It's called the triple lock mechanism, isn't it? So it's whichever's highest, whether it's 2.5%, the annual wage increase, or the rate of inflation.
It must rise by September's price inflation, average earnings growth, or 2.5%, whichever is higher.
And it was the 3.9% for wage increases, yeah.
So that's quite good. Also, we've got some news on final salary pensions. I know I was saying last week that final salary pension values are high at the moment and they could start to fall. There was an announcement yesterday by the UK government that is giving all final salary pension companies the option to suspend all transfers for at least 3 months from today. Or it could be longer, it could be 6 months. So if you are doing a DB pension transfer, if you are in the middle of it and the money hasn't been released, sadly your company could now choose not to release that money for at least 3 months. It could be even longer. They may suspend transfers indefinitely. We're just waiting to see. So if you haven't got your final salary pension out it could be too late, especially if you work for someone like British Airways. There is rumours that the government is going to try and nationalise the BA part of IAG. And obviously that's going to impact quite a lot of pension companies. Most of them have shares in IAG, which is the parent company.
Yeah.
So if you have shares in that, either reduce your exposure, hopefully you haven't got a lot of money in there, or take care. Anything to do with airlines, you've got American Airlines, which came out saying it needs a $12 billion bailout from the US government. So airlines and also, this is all going to impact your final salary pensions. Also Topshop. That nice man, Mr. Green, who should be called Mr. Greedy, he was meant to be paying money in to top up the pension pots. You remember the BHS scandal?
Yeah.
He is saying as times are hard, he's not going to pay into it anymore, which beggars belief, but he'll get away with it yet again. And I think this whole incident with this coronavirus has brought to the fore how greedy certain individuals and certain companies are. And you're saying that people are coming together to act for the greater good. No, they're not. There are certain companies and individuals out there that are still looking after themselves. We've still got certain idiots posting pictures of them on their £50 million yacht in the middle of some Bahama island or whatever, saying, don't worry, I'm safe. We don't give a bananas if you're drowning, basically, matey. Most of us don't have a 50 million yacht to go and sit on and have all our servants pandering to us and giving us everything we need. These people need to get in touch with the real world. And all these celebrities, or so-called celebrities or influencers that are posting all these stupid videos, one famous woman singer sitting in a bath moaning, you've got Sam Smith crying in his mansion. Come on, get a real grip on life. There's people out there that can't afford food, that can't afford to live, that are committing suicide, and you're talking about your hard life. I think it's now time people realise that youth of today, and maybe the older generation, we have been respecting the wrong people. We have had too much. We've been in awe of all these film stars, these pop stars. They've been getting knighthoods, they've been getting this, that and the other. I'm sorry, they should get nothing. I think the Queen's Honour list next year should contain no celebrities, no sportsmen, nobody, just people, normal people who have worked to help people through this crisis. I think it should happen across the world, and I think from now on the honours list should just have normal working people in, not celebrities who give money to charity in the hope they'll get a knighthood, who do concerts in the hope they'll get a knighthood. We've seen this exposed time and time again. David Beckham was exposed for doing it, and various other people. The only reason they do these charity things is to make them look good, and so they get their knighthood. I think now people need to stand together, and we need to respect the real heroes that are working people through this nightmare scenario, whether it was man-made, whether it was natural. I really don't care anymore. We need to start and look at who we really need to be respecting in this world. It's not politicians, it's not it's everyday people, and I think everyday people should now be people that we, in the Daily Mail you get the little column at the side about all the social gossip. Why don't they change that to say, let's, this person invented this person saved so many lives. Let's respect normal people for a change.
Yeah, that's not as glamorous, of course. But, some of these celebs, they are doing good work, and they're doing a lot online at the moment. And it's entertainment, it's free, but they are raising some money. And whether you say it's for their profile or not, so it's still, they're still doing a bit.
Yeah, how much is actually going to charities? Okay, there was an expose on the TV the other day. All these celebrities that do stuff for charities, they charge, and they charge huge fees. It's not out of the goodness of their heart for most of them. Very few of them do it for free. So unless you can be 1,000% sure that these people are doing stuff for free, when they say they're giving all the proceeds to charity, it's usually minus a big cut. Okay, so we need to make sure that charities are actually doing what they're set up to do. And I'm not going to go into that, but as I said, I think it's normal people that now need to be respected. And we were talking about pensions, and we're talking about all the stimulus all these governments are putting into everything. And it's really, what it's going to come back is it's going to come back and hit the middle classes when things return to normal. They're going to see a huge impact because of the cost of these coronavirus rescue schemes. The governments have got to get the money back from somewhere, and that's going to come from people who are working. There's going to be more taxes. There's going to be less savings they're going to tax, pensions, are going to be delayed or derailed. You know, we're going to face years and years, if not decades, of new austerity to try and balance the books. This money can't come out of thin air. People who are saying, oh, brilliant, the government's doing this, this and this, have got to realise that the state's spending is our tax that we are paying them. And suddenly they've got all this money, which they never had, to help the NHS, to help the elderly, to help sick people. It's been found. No, it hasn't been found. They're raising this through the debt markets. They're issuing bonds which have to be repaid back with the interest. We need this money to help people. What people have got to realise is there's going to be a lot of pain afterwards for everybody. And in the UK, it's brought to the forefront, and across the world, people who have been working and haven't been paying the correct tax, because most of the governments are saying now, right, if we're going to pay you back so much of your salary or so much of you declared, or for some people who've only been declaring maybe a third of their income or less, that's all they're going to get back from the government to help them out in these times of need. And for most people, they were declaring the bare minimum. So it's going to make people understand that, you know, by tax evasion, you could lose out in the long run with things like this, when you need that money to support you and your family.
While we're talking about declaration, that sort of thing, is there anything else that's been put off? We talked about the Modello 720. Anything else been suspended?
No, that was meant to be suspended, then they changed their mind.
That's right, yeah.
So everyone has to have it in by today, or else they're saying they're going to fine people. I'd like to see them try and fine people at this time. The EU has ruled their fines are unacceptable anyway, and no one's paying them. But I think the Spanish government should have done more. I've spoken to lots of accountants, Hesterias. They say they're having to work from home. They're struggling with the workload. The government said it was going to suspend this, this and this to make it easier. Now it's changed its mind, and there's enough stress on people anyway. Why are they forcing this on us? You know, that is not urgent to the economy of Spain. To know what people have got in their Modello 720. It could easily have been suspended for a year. You know, there's so much more they could do to help people. And as I said, I'm speaking to businesses, I'm speaking to individuals across the UK, across Spain, who are having problems getting from the government money that is promised on TV. You know, they go on Facebook, they do all these talks saying, oh, we're going to protect the self-employed, the employed, employers. There's so much red tape people are having to go through. People are not getting money, and as I said, people are in dire needs. And as I said when I was on the air the other day, the mayors of, I think, every town in Spain need to come together. They need to set up task force within each area to help people get through the red tape as quickly as possible and get their money as quickly as possible. They've got staff now that are not being fully utilised due to restrictions. Move them over to assist people in need. To assist, they should have a desk for self-employed, a desk for employed, a desk for employers. They should have teams on each of them who can talk people through all the red tape, can make sure they get their money now instead of people being told they're going to get it in June, September, December. By then, these people will be destitute. Their businesses will be ruined. You know, some of them could be out of their homes. Some of them haven't been, you know, had enough to eat. There needs to be more done at a personal level as well to help people through these hard times.
Yeah, some towns and regions are doing better than others, I think, as far as that sort of side of the administration goes. But,
and I think it needs to be a lot clearer how people do it. I know there needs to be a certain amount of red tape, but surely in these times of need that could be streamlined, and we should be thinking of people. You know, you're all talking about people coming together. Let's salute our heroes. What about the people who need the help the most? And it's not just the elderly, it's infirmed, it's people with children, young children who can't work. You know, it's people who are on basic wages. Everybody at the moment is not earning what they were used to earning. No. And we need that help there, and we need it now, and we need it for everybody.
Okay, well, still, good news about UK pensions.
That is one bit of news, and the exchange rate going up, so it's going to be worth more in euros.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. We're over 112, I think, for euro to sterling at the moment on the markets. There's the base rate. So obviously, as we say, you are contactable, regular clients or anyone else with possible inquiries. What's the best way to get in touch with you at the moment?
We are actually very, very busy at the moment with people getting in touch just to talk through things. and we're here for them. So the best way is if you have any emails, email info@blacktowerfm, that stands for financialmanagement.com. If you put for the attention of Christina, or if you put it Bay Radio, it comes through to me, and then I'll pass it on to anyone who can help you, or I'll help you myself. Also, you can go to our website, which is blacktowerfm.com, or even email studio@bayradio.fm, and they will pass everything through to us. But please, don't sit there and worry and panic. If you need any guidance, any reassurance, any advice, we are here to help as best as we can. Obviously, we can't change the markets. We can't make things recover sooner than they will, but we can try to help you in any way possible. And that's what we're doing at the moment. We are here to reassure, to guide, and to try and give you some comfort. Everyone is suffering. You're not alone.
Okay, well, we thank you as always for your time. And exceptional circumstances mean that I turn a blind eye to you moonlighting on other shows. You are on with Kal again on Friday. Well, you can't. You belong to this show, but we will leash you out for the time being.